It is Tuesday night, and we are live for round number 11 of the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger Series tonight. The Daniel Williamson Memorial 126 presented by Shotguy 12 Racing. I am Jeff By Jr., joined by Bill Tomer in the ITZR broadcast booth. And Bill, rough racing last night. Martinsville was a little crazy, but now the Challenger Series drivers get to take their part in it. And we got 6 drivers racing for a championship. Only 4 will move on to the next round.
Yeah, tonight all the marbles are on the table. We saw it last night. It was absolute mayhem at Martinsville. I think we're going to probably see a lot of the same tonight, Jeff. Just guys really trying to get after it and trying to make things happen as we head towards the championship round next week.
Yeah, and it is a little bit smaller of a field tonight. Not as many drivers taking part. I know a lot of them having issues with the hurricanes down there in the south, and so think about everybody down there. Hopefully, everybody's safe. And I know there's interruptions in the power and internet down there, so I hate that you're not making it, not here, but we hopefully see you guys back next week and everything works out as far as that hurricane goes.
I think we're looking at one of the smallest. Unfortunately, it's horrible, but it's one of the smallest fields we've had in the Late Model Challenger Series, probably in 2 seasons. Like you said, I think there's a lot of things going on around, well, at least the southeast right now. I believe Florida has closed.
Yeah, I think everybody's trying to get out of Florida right now, right? Because the hurricane's coming right for them.
Yeah, Florida, not a place you want to be right now, especially the Tampa Bay area. And I know that we've got some drivers that live down in that area, so hopefully they are safe. And we'll continue. We'll have the Daniel Williamson Memorial 126 tonight, and maybe some of those guys can jump on their phones, get an opportunity to watch us on YouTube, Facebook, or our stream on our own Facebook page.
Shout out in the Facebook chat to my dad, Jeff By, hanging out. Caden Tufts, who's in this race tonight. Second fastest in practice. Corey Bigley hanging out, cheering for the Revelry Racing and SPM drivers. This qualifying is underway for the Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes Quick Time Award. And right to the top of the board, Caleb Hall, 18.638, goes fastest so far. Caden Tufts, second fastest, 18.726, a little bit off there, about a 10th off of Caleb Hall and his practice speeds. So not the lap Caden was looking for. Still good for second. Josh Parrish, one of those championship contenders. He is third right now, 18.735.
Chris Roma goes to P2 in the 83 car. Great lap for Chris as he'll go up to the second spot behind Caleb Hall. Sean Hayes locked into P5 as we caught the end of a little bit of a crash there for Sean. Ricky Howell goes up to P4.
Great lap for Ricky, last week's winner in the number 20 machine. Zach Oden holding on to 6 right now. Another championship contender. Brad Carpenter sits 7th. Caleb W. Hill sitting 8th. Craig Tolley, another championship driver, sitting 10th right now.
Remember, a longer qualifying session tonight, Jeff, as we don't have any B main or B dash, however you want to call it. Watching Denver Traves out on the racetrack, younger brother of Parker Traves. Wonder if he'll ever be out of that shadow, Jeff. We just keep calling him younger brother of Parker Traves.
Yeah. Well, when he becomes a 3-time winner of the Late Model Shootout Series in one season,
Ouch.
Then we'll just say Parker Traves or Denver Traves. AJ Rogers to third on the board, 18.724 for AJ Rogers.
Denver Traves clocked in P16. Jarrett Campbell out on the racetrack in the 04. He's going to be sitting P18, I believe, on his first lap. Rick Rube is out on the racetrack, number 81 machine. He'll go P13.
If you're with us on Facebook right now, make sure you like and share the stream. Let people know we got some racing going on tonight. Caleb Hall, 200 stars. Thank you so much, Caleb. We do appreciate that. And he is currently leading the way here in qualifying.
Well, he can afford it, Jeff, because we'll see. If the qualifying is the way it is, he'll pick up $5 from Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes. Of course, go over to Facebook and check out Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes. If you're ever in Wisconsin, you want to go on a fishing trip, that's the place to do it. Or I guess if you want to shoot some birds, huh? That's kind of the thing you want to do up there in Wisconsin. I guess that kind of covers both seasons, or at least a couple seasons. I guess there's more than 2, so I shouldn't say both seasons, but yeah. I think Wisconsin, the way I think of it, it's either cold or warm. Wait a minute.
Less cold, you mean?
Yeah,
Just
and less cold. Yeah, it's like summer and winter. There's no in between.
Ricky Howell hanging out gave us 200 stars. Ricky currently sitting 6 on the board qualified. Thank you, Ricky. We do appreciate that.
I think Jarrett Campbell's out here doing practice laps, Jeff. The 04 just keeps going. I mean, hey, if you want more, just get more. You know what I mean?
Jeff By throwing down 50 stars for Zach Onan, cheering for the 42 machine. Super Zach.
Take a look at AJ Rogers as he sits on pit road. Dylan Canova's made his return tonight, Jeff. He's out on the racetrack in the number 70. We haven't seen Dylan in a while. Dylan has work on Tuesdays, so he has a hard time making it for the Tuesday night series, but he's a fast driver in that 70 car.
I believe it's Officer Canova, right?
Honestly, I have no idea.
I think that's what we talked to him about. That's what he does for work. We'll have to double check with him, but pretty sure it's Officer Canova.
I feel horrible if he's told us and I forgot. That's good.
Well, he did not get enough time there to get a lap in. Waited a little too long, and so not going to make it. But he will start at the rear of the field tonight. Everybody going to make it straight into the A main. That means we got a 5-minute warm-up session, and we got to talk about the point standings because we got 6 drivers all tied for the lead in the standings. Nobody has a bonus point, and so now it's down to whoever finishes in front of whoever to move on. So JJ Chansey, Caleb Hall, Zach Onan, Josh Parrish, Chris Roma, and Craig Tolley, your 6 drivers in the playoffs, still remaining in the playoffs. 2 will be eliminated after tonight, and it is dead even between all 6 of them. So it really... You're only racing 2 of the guys, right? You only got to beat 2 of them.
Well, I think personally you want to beat all of them. You want to make sure that you're in the playoffs. You don't want to leave it up. Oh, I've got 2 behind me. I'm good. We saw what happened last week between Dylan Bates and Parker Traves. They were solidly in, and one little incident kicked them both out. So I think, Jeff, you try to beat all of those guys. You're not looking to just pick off 2.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to put yourself in a position like we saw last night where Grayson Ward got turned around late in the race and there wasn't enough time for him to recover. That cost him a chance of moving on, and you just don't want to put yourself in a position if you can do what what Alex McCollum did last night, which is set fast time, lead every lap, and win the race. I mean, that's the ideal situation.
Yeah, we'll see if Caleb Hall is able to do that tonight. Caleb came off of the weekend. He was actually at that Valley Star Credit Union 300 late model race in Martinsville, so he's looking at the real event happening this past weekend, and now he's going to do it in the virtual world as he's going to try to lead 126 of his own laps. So we watched 200 laps this weekend.
Caleb driving a 26 car tonight, and that is the last car that Daniel Williamson ran on iRacing. That's the exact paint scheme that Daniel last ran on iRacing. Caleb, a former teammate of Daniel Williamson's.
And of course, Caleb, we talked about it just a little bit ago, Jeff. He is the Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes Quick Time Award winner. So he will go home with an extra $5 to his name. And thank you to him for kicking I believe it's $2 of that back to us. So we fully appreciate that.
Yeah, Caden Tuff sent us another 200 stars. You guys are awesome. I mean, that is really cool. Thank you so much, guys.
Had a little conversation with Caleb Hall, Jeff. I think you heard it. We had a little conversation about the Martinsville hot dog this weekend. You know, we both had we partook. Is that a word?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Okay. We definitely we tried them. Made sure we tried the voted best hot dog in NASCAR. It wasn't bad. It's pretty good.
Is it as red as they say?
Oh yes.
It's bright red.
Yes. It's very strange. But they're very strange. They're definitely dyed. There's something very odd about them. They get lighter in the middle. It's very, very weird hot dog. Yeah. But it is red, and they put they call it all the way. They put chili, coleslaw, onions, and mustard on a hot dog. And that is the Martinsville all the way hot dog, and it's only $2.
Wow. Inflation hasn't touched hot dogs, apparently.
They said it during the race while we were there that they were always $2. They started as $2. They will always be $2.
Awesome.
I don't know if Martinsville is willing to lose money on their hot dogs in the future.
Either that or they've been gouging you for years.
Exactly. Right, exactly.
Jeff By with 200 stars. Thank you so much, guys. Caleb Hall said the Jesse Jones hot dogs. That's how they all come. Josh Parrish, $2 hot dogs and $10 drinks.
$7 for a beer.
That's not terrible for a sporting event.
Not horrible.
So still under our warm-up, a little extended warm-up tonight since we don't have the B main. These guys are getting full 5-minute practice sessions. Several cars on the racetrack still here in this final warm-up.
Jeff, I was going to save it till later, and maybe we'll do 2 trivia questions. I think that was pretty fun last night. But do you want to do a trivia question while we're sitting here waiting for warm-up to end? And we'll go first yellow will give the answer. I figure first yellow will give the answer. Okay?
All right.
Without looking on Google, how wide is the Martinsville Speedway? Now that is the lane, the racing lane.
Okay, the racing lane. I mean, it looks fairly wide. I'm looking at it and I'm watching John Piet drive around the track right now. It's 4-5 car widths wide, right?
So you'd have to give me a in feet.
All right, I'm gonna think about this.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 30 feet.
Okay, so you're gonna say 30. So anybody that's in the chat, they can give us their guesses, and we'll see who comes up the winner. I know the answer to the question. I will guess.
Josh Barris said not wide enough. Reagan Parents in the race chat saying 37 feet wide.
37. Okay, so that's his guess.
All right, we are getting set to go tonight for the Daniel Williamson Memorial 126 presented by Shock Eye 12 Racing on the pole tonight. We're still waiting for this guy to grid. I want to see this number 26 car, so I'm going to hold off for just a second. I'm going to stall for a minute and see if we can get him to grid here.
I think he's too busy watching the broadcast. He's taking 2 months to grid. Ricky House is 42 feet.
All right, now
first yellow will give you that answer, Jeff.
Now the grid's starting to take place in the number 26 tonight. Usually the 05, but running the 26 for Daniel Williamson. On the pole, your Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes Quick Time Award winner. The 26, that's Caleb Hall. On the outside of him, a winner this season in the Challenger Series, trying to play spoiler in the playoffs here in the Challenger Series. The number 17 of Chase L. Pierce.
Starting in the 3rd position in the number 83. Good qualifying effort for him. It is Chris Roma, and to his outside in the familiar number 17, it's AJ Rogers.
Starting 5th tonight in a 00 car, it is Caden Tufts. On the outside of him, last week's winner here in the Challenger Series, the 20 of Ricky Howell.
Starting 7th in the number 55, a new paint scheme for him this week. It is Josh, actually tonight, because he was here last night and had a different looking car. It's Josh Parrish. To his outside in the number 1, a pink number 1 this week, it's Sean Hayes.
Starting 9th tonight in the number 42 car, that is Super Zach Onan in the number 42. On the outside of him, starting 10th, is the 31 of Brad Carpenter.
Starting 11th in the number 67 machine winner in the series earlier this season, it is Aaron Plemons, and to his outside in the white number 1, that's Caleb Hill.
Starting 13th tonight, one of the playoff drivers, the number 50 of Craig Tolley. On the outside of him, he's going to start from the pits due to a connection issue. It's the 81, the ravishing one, Rick Rube.
Starting 15th in the number 2, that's JJ Chansey, and to his outside in the number 03, starting 16th, it's David Hill.
Starting 17th tonight will be the 72 with Tyler Perkins. On the outside of him, the younger brother of Parker Traves, the 24, Denver Traves.
Starting 19th in the number 5, Mr. Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes himself, it's John Piet. And to his outside in the 04, that's Jared Campbell.
Starting 21st tonight in the number 17 machine, it's Reagan Parent. And on the outside of him in the number 70, actually 07 now, that is Dylan Canova.
A lot of cars all over the place right now. This is getting crazy. Starting 22nd, and I think he's shotgun on the field, right, Jeff? It is Reagan Parent. Looks like Landon Huffman did not make the call.
Yeah, Landon Huffman not taking part in tonight's race. So Jarrett Campbell, Brad Carpenter, and David Hill will go to the rear of the field due to penalties. So we're going to have a string of single file cars towards the back of the field tonight.
Of course, we'll focus in on that number 26 out front. That is Caleb Hall driving the 26 tonight in honor of Daniel Williamson. Of course, you know the story. We talked about it last night, but Daniel Williamson was a huge friend to us here at In the Zone Racing. Made a lot of friends within the league and within the iRacing circles, short track circles. And we lost him last year due to illness. We all miss him. And every season we pay tribute to our friend. He helped build this league. He's one of the building blocks of In the Zone Racing. So we pay tribute to him every season with the Daniel Williamson 126 here at Martinsville.
Well, Caleb Hall on the pole in that 26 car. Chase Pierce on the outside of him. They're going to get the one to go this time, and we're going to get set to go racing for 126 laps tonight. Looks like about 22 cars taking part in tonight's feature event. Remember, playoffs, those drivers racing for a championship, just 4 of the 6 will move on to the next round, and it is just a matter of who finishes ahead of who tonight. Caleb Hall, one of those playoff drivers, will start from the pole. Chase Pierce, trying to play spoiler, not in the playoffs. He's going to start second, and he is a winner this season, trying to pick up a second win. As we're going to go green flag racing off turn 4. Caleb Hall in the 26 machine. He has control of this start. Going to make him wait on it. And off turn 4, we are green flag racing. Caleb Hall to the lead.
Caleb Hall gets a nice jump. Battle's going to be for second spots. Chris Roma looks to the inside of Chase Pierce through turns 1 and 2. Roma on the bottom. You've got Caden Tufts. He's going to battle with AJ Rogers for 4th.
Tufts trying to move forward. I see the 55 of Parrish making a move as the 20 of Ricky Howell got up the racetrack. Now we got a caution wreck further back. I saw the 72 of Tyler Perkins going around into turn 3, and I think we might have had a solo incident there.
Take a look on our replay as quickly as we possibly can. Tyler Perkins definitely had an issue down the back straightaway. Yeah, I think you might be right, Jeff. I think you might have just... Here we go as we pick him up coming off of turn 2. Uh-oh. Jeff, there's a song for that.
Yeah, all by myself moment for Tyler Perkins. Just cold tires.
And he made, sorry to interrupt you, he made Brad Carpenter have to change his shorts. 100%. We'll take a look from Brad Carpenter's view as he saw what was going on. But poor Brad Carpenter, just not... he's got problems, and now he's got problems right in front of me. Oh my gosh. Oh, Brad, good reaction time there from the 31.
Yeah, cold tires. Really just striking there as Tyler Perkins got on the gas a little early off turn 2, got loose, got into the wall, tried to get it off the wall, and then spun back out again. And then Caleb Hall says he thinks the track is 55 feet wide, and since this is our first caution of the race, it's time to give us an answer.
Caleb Hall is correct. Martinsville is 55 feet wide all the way around.
That is much wider than I expected. That is pretty big.
It is a wide race. It is a deceptive racetrack. We talked about last night, the banking is 11 degrees. Everybody always told us how flat it was. 11 degrees, not so flat. And when you see it in real life, if you're close to the level of the racetrack, you can see that there's quite a bit of banking, way more than you would think in Martinsville. Because, of course, we've been told our entire life that it's super flat. It's not. But this thing is also very wide, and the straightaways are extremely long.
Well, and that is the more you know moment there, brought to you by Bill Tomer.
That's right. I'm an encyclopedia of Martinsville facts because of Google.
We will have a single file restart this time because they did not complete a lap. So base car lights are out. We are going to get a single file restart because they did not complete a lap there before that first caution. So Caleb Hall out front, single file with Chase Pierce behind him. Chris Roma third, Caden Tufts fourth, AJ Rogers running in the 5th spot. And they're going to take them all the way up to the wall, try to get that big run off turn 4. Hall is on the gas early. Pierce got sideways, and that's going to cost him some gap to Caleb Hall there.
Pierce wiggled a little bit on the throttle. Caleb Hall shot out of a cannon. Here comes Caden Tufts to the inside of Chris Roma. They're going to battle for third. Here comes AJ Rogers looking underneath Chris Roma. Has to back off going into turn number 3.
Caden Tufts was very fast in practice, did not have the qualifying effort he was looking for, and so he is on the move early up into the 3rd spot. Started 5th tonight. Chris Roma back into 4th. AJ Rogers still holding on to 5th.
We've got a car against the wall down the back straightaway, Jeff. I think that's Aaron Plemons.
Saw an issue.
Plemons just sitting on the wall.
Yeah, not sure what happened to the 67 machine.
He's clear of any issues, so he's just sitting there.
And Bill, I'm watching as he came off turn 2. I just went back to look at the replays. He came off turn 2. The wheels on that car turned hard left, and he had no control of the steering. So I'm thinking something came disconnected there in his steering wheel setup, and he is.
And the flagman just letting it happen, Jeff. Because there's just.
I mean, he's out of the way.
He's out of the way.
Keep on racing.
Unless somebody spins down the backstretch, or Tyler Perkins has an issue like he did before, he's just going to tater the 67 sitting down there. Anyone gets close to him, oh, and he's gone now. So unbelievable. The flagman has as much patience as possible.
I'm guessing a mechanical issue there for Aaron Clemens. That was very unusual. I've never seen the wheels just turn hard left like that, and it obviously had no control of the car, so he was able to at least get it out of the way, trying to repair that issue, I guess, but he is going to lose multiple laps. As Caleb Hall, still your leader, has opened up a nice gap over Chase Pierce. It's about 7/10 of a second. Caden Tuff starting to run down Pierce, but he is sideways. I just saw the 0-0 get wicked loose coming off turn 4.
John Piet and Rick Rube just swapped positions. Rube moved up into the 17th spot, sent Piet back to 18th.
So Rube started from the pit lane, caught that early yellow, which helped him out a bit, but definitely got some work cut out for him as JJ Chansey's on the move. Caleb W. Hill up the racetrack. He's going to lose multiple spots as Craig Tolley goes by. Here comes Dylan Canova. Canova going to try to take over the 12th spot now as Caleb Hall falls all the way back to 13th.
He'll get strung out just a bit here early in the going.
Yeah, unlike what we saw last night, where it's constant restarts, this is having some good green flag racing right off the bat, and they are really starting to stretch them out, which means we could see some lap traffic pretty quickly here for the race leaders. I think the 04 car has made his way to pit road as well. That's Jarrett Campbell, so issues for the 04. Now just 20 cars still running on the lead lap.
Good battle back there. You were talking about it, Jeff, that JJ Chansey Craig Tully battle. It's Chansey pulling around a big train of race cars.
Yeah, and as they stand right now, both of these drivers would not move on to the next round of the playoffs. JJ Chansey, Craig Tolley, they would be out if this race finished where they are. So they need to get on their horse right now and start chasing down the rest of the field.
Chansey up the racetrack just a little bit. Tully on the curve. Tully trying to look underneath the 2-car, can't make the move. Chansey was able to hold up. He had some momentum around the corner that time as he ran kind of a middle line. That time, not quite as quick through 3 and 4. Here comes Brad Carpenter to the inside of Denver Traves.
Carpenter on the move. He had a penalty to start the night. He would have started 10th. He had a great qualifying run, was showing a lot of speed. Would have started 10th, but had a penalty from the previous week, sent him to the rear of the field, and now he's on the move trying to work his way to the front.
Rick Rube has caught this group as well in the 81 car.
And Bill, you got to wonder right now. I see the 26 car starting to lose his lead, and Chase Pierce is running down Caleb Hall, and I got to wonder if this thing is starting to go green, if Caleb's thinking, you know what, I better back down a little bit, save some tires, because this is looking like we could have long green flag runs tonight.
You see Caleb slide it a little bit going down into turn number 3. You might be right, Jeff. He might be thinking, don't want to get out too far. It's one of those situations where this car will eat tires over the course of 126 laps, especially if we have long green flag runs.
Absolutely. A shout out to Aaron Clemens. He's in the chat. He said his wheel broke. He said sucks, but he will see us next week. And Aaron, that is a tough way to go out. Hopefully everything's fixable, and you'll be able to get back to racing next week. And the 26 car just slid that thing through 1 and 2. Now he's going to chop Chase Pierce coming off turn 2. Caden Tufts is now joining this battle, so it's a 3-horse race for the lead.
Yeah, Chris Roma's there as well. Like you said, Jeff, Caleb Hall backing up everybody just a little bit. So here comes Chris Roma. He's about to join this fight. Here comes AJ Rogers in the 17th. So we're about to have 5 cars under a blanket for the top spot.
Yeah, very strange. The 26 really shot out to a large lead early, and now he seems to be slowing down. And I can't imagine he was able to burn up the tires that quickly. But to me, I think it's more that he's slowing down the pace now that he realizes this race might have long green flag runs. But definitely we're seeing the 17 car showing a little bit more speed, and he's bringing a lot along a lot of cars behind him that are showing a lot more speed than the leader.
Brad Carpenter and Reagan Parent are battling. That's a battle for the 14th spot. Reagan Parent underneath the 31 of Carpenter. He's got Denver Traves right behind him. Here comes Rick Rube as well. Got about 3 distinct groups of race cars. So this is the third group that we're looking at right now. There's another group being towed by Ricky Howell. So he's got Zach Onen, Sean Hayes, and Josh Parrish following him. That's the second group of cars. You can see they've got about a straightaway on the third group.
Sean Hayes trying to find a way around Zach Onen. I saw Zach get really sideways coming off turn 4 that time. We're still seeing some cars sliding around, and that seems to be an issue. Ooh, and Zach's going to get a bumper there from Sean Hayes, and that's going to slow down the one car's momentum. He had to check up for the 42 there, and now Josh Parrish starting to put the pressure on the one. Rick Rube on the move. He is trying to make a pass on Denver Traves. This is a battle for 16th position. Is Rube trying to work his way back to the front?
He will slot around Denver Traves down through turns 3 and 4. So he makes the move on the bottom. Traves going to slide back. Rick Rube making his way forward. He's up to the 16th spot. Working lap number 27 already. These guys doing a fantastic job tonight in the Late Model Challenger Series.
Absolutely. This is fantastic racing right now. We're clean and green for quite a while as we're working lap 28.
Oh, big wreck on the front straightaway, Jeff. We talked. Wow, we just jinxed the whole race. The huge wreck on the front straightaway. JJ Chansey's caught in it. Craig Tully, Caleb Hill.
Dylan Canova was involved, and
Brad
I think
Carpenter.
It started with Tully and Chansey. Those are 2 playoff drivers that just got caught up together. And big wreck coming down the front straightaway.
Trying to figure out what happened between those two is just a smash. I mean, pick it up as they are battling. Chansey has damage on the right front. Looks like he's been in the outside wall and just a right rear hook. Chansey just got Craig Tully. Just looks like they go through the corner. I think Tully's very much on the bottom, and let's see what we got here. Yeah. Ow. That wrecked a whole bunch in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and that's heartbreaking for Craig Tully and JJ Chansey because they needed to gain spots here if they want to make that final round and race for the championship next week. And both of them going to take heavy damage. The two car looks pretty bad right now. Craig Tully's car, he hit head on. I'm not seeing a ton of damage to that car, but the 2 for sure looks very heavily damaged.
Tully's front end is beat pretty bad. He's still running 10th. As all the cars that they were all gapped pretty well, so they were running in a position where the front of that pack I think was running 10th. That was JJ Chansey and Tully battling for that spot. But boy, Tully's front end and right side are pretty beat up. Don't know how much speed he's gonna have left in that number 50 machine. But Rick Rube, he was able to sneak by all of that stuff, Jeff. He went from 16th to 11th.
Yeah, great avoidance there for Rick Rube. That did catch up a lot of cars. Dylan Canova came down pit road. He is repairing some damage right now. I saw the 1 of Caleb W. Hill on pit road as well. And a tough break for those guys. Dylan Canova was on the move. He started 22nd tonight. He was running, I think, about 12th, 13th position when that one started. So tough break for Canova, but not a ton of damage to the 07. I think he kind of spun around, but that 2 car now on pit road, and JJ Chansey's going to have a lot of repairs to do to make this car drivable and raceable if he wants any chance of making that final race next week. Craig Tully also on pit road as well, so they're going to take some time here to repair these cars and get back to racing. I mean, at this point, they might need some help from the guys in front of them, and right now everybody up front racing very clean.
Well, you know what cautions do, though.
Yeah, cautions do breed cautions, and we saw that last night. As soon as we had a couple cautions, they just kind of kept coming, and it was all that fighting for position on the bottom that really set that off. Now, we did have that single file restart and then a good about 25 lap run. So double file restart, all bets are off now, right?
Yeah, we've reset everything. We've got a bunch of damaged cars in the middle of this race, probably 3 or 4. And we saw there was a lot of pressure happening up front as Caleb Hall was under fire from Chase Pierce.
Well, it'll be 26 Caleb Hall and the 17 Chase Pierce on the front row for this restart. Hall spun the tires. That's going to allow Pierce to get a nice run. He's going to be door-to-door with the 26 at the start-finish line. Hayden Tufts and Chris Roma, they're still side-by-side for second. Roma's up the racetrack. That's going to allow A.J. Rogers to try to slip by now.
A.J. Rogers to the bottom. Hayden Tufts did not get off of turn 2 very well. He's not able to put any pressure on Chase Pierce. Pierce should have an opportunity as we got cars beating and banging. Josh Parrish is sideways.
Chris Roma had a moment. That's 2 more playoff drivers in trouble as Roma's up the racetrack. He has lost multiple spots. Parrish has lost multiple spots. They're 3 wide down the back straightaway. Rick Rube is in the fence.
Denver Traves figuring out where he needs to go. He's just trying to find a line to race as there's cars everywhere.
Crazy racing right now as Josh Parrish is falling back to 10th. Roma back into the 8th spot rather. Josh Parrish 9th now. Traves still struggling. He is on the outside. Here comes the 03 of David Hill. This is a battle for 11th, I believe, 12th.
Yeah, Hill's going to look to go by Denver Traves. Rick Rube got some damage on the right front of that number 81 machine as he hit the wall down the back straightaway a couple laps ago. Everybody up front has kind of figured it out, and they've all gotten single file. This is where the battles are on the racetrack.
Hill got up the racetrack. That sent the 24 Denver Traves up the racetrack. Now Rick Rube going to take advantage. He's going to pick up a spot here from Traves. Behind them, Tyler Perkins and Dylan Canova are racing side by side. Traves got sideways off 2.
Traves got crazy sideways off 2, ended up switching lanes, didn't hit anybody. Canova looked to the outside in the 07. Now they're going to be side by side down the front straightaway.
Yeah, Canova passed the 72 with Tyler Perkins. Now Hill spun in turn 1. The 1 car is around with Brad Carpenter in the 31.
Wow. A lot of stuff going on. Get a replay really quick from the blimp. County Road Custom blimp. Oh, we might have a C car, don't hit car situation here, Jeff. John Piette going to pick up a little bit of damage after coming in late on that incident.
Now I'm watching this from the onboard of the 31, and he makes a move to the inside, and then the 1 makes a move downwards to block. And
we'll look at that as well.
Yeah, this is a tough one because he's not quite there alongside the 1 car, but the 1 definitely moves down.
I just feel like you have to give the guy in front of you room. If you're not, I mean, we always say to the door, to the tire, at least get something. If you don't back off enough and not hit him going into the corner, I mean, he didn't, attempt or get anywhere near a pass there. He's got to make sure he gives him room, right?
Yeah, I'm watching it again because he from his onboard, he pulls down, then the 1 car pulls down. And Brad just never quite was alongside the 1 car, so he needed to lift a little bit earlier than the 1 did going into the corner.
Yeah, I don't think that Caleb lifted too early or anything. Yeah, he actually gains on the 72 of Tyler Perkins as they go into the corner. So you can see the 1's actually gaining on Tyler there. So I just think that's somebody trying to. Maybe thinking the 1 was going to give him room. I just think that's a C car. Don't hit car for me. You got to give him room to be able to get down.
Well, that is going to be an advantage for Craig Tolley because he was a lap down after pitting earlier on in that first caution, and now he is back on the racetrack. Got a lap back. He is the lucky dog back on the lead lap at 19th. He's going to come back down pit road now, still keep repairing damage on that car. JJ Chansey currently running 20th. Those are the 2 drivers that would be out if this thing finishes how it is running right now. That would mean Josh Parrish, Zach Onan, Chris Roma, and Caleb Hall would be in that final 4 next week.
Greg Tully with a lot of damage still on that 50 car. He has been down pit road multiple times. And that thing is still wrecked. We're taking a look at the number 50 on your screen right now. Boy, that is just, you got to feel kind of heartbroken for those guys. They were battling for the final playoff position, but they were both out at the time. So it's just like, keep racing, right? You want to see them make contact, knock them both out.
Well, the pace car lights are out. We're going to go back to green flag racing. That was a good green flag run there for a bit, and then a little chaos there on that last little run. And there was a lot of battling for that bottom side of the racetrack, even some 3-wide battles through that restart. And we're going to do it again. The 26, Caleb Hall up front, Chase Pierce, Caden Tufts, AJ Rogers, Zach Onen running fifth. Pace cars off the racetrack. Now Caleb Hall has control of this restart. He's going to wait a little bit. Gets him down to the front straightaway. He takes off, and Pierce is going to be clear into turn 1.
Pierce able to drop down in line in that second spot. The battle's going to be on for make it 4th. Here comes Zach Onen. He'll be the inside of AJ Rogers. He'll battle for 4th down into turn number 3.
Trouble further back. The 1 car, Sean Hayes, is sideways. That's going to bring out a yellow. Roma gets collected. Another playoff driver in trouble as Chris Roma gets collected in that one, and he is around backwards in turn 4.
I think the best news for Chris Roma if he doesn't pilot into the front straightaway wall, and I think he just did. Because he didn't have any damage on that race car after that, and I think he just, yes he did. He just picked up a little bit of damage when he tried to spin the car back around. There's a little bit of self-inflicted wound there from the 83 machine. He didn't have any damage after that happened, but we'll take a look at this. So that started with Sean Hayes.
Yeah, it was Hayes and Ricky Howell battling side by side going into turn 3. And my initial reaction is I think the 1 car was down the racetrack just a bit.
Just want to make sure that Ricky presented the pass. Yeah, I mean, it's a late move, but I just feel like Sean doesn't get all the way to the bottom, and Ricky's down there for a while.
Yeah, the 1 car just really didn't leave a lot of room there for the 20. He was to the inside, and he was down on the curb, and the 1 car just almost tank slaps the right front fender with the rear end of the car. It was kind of an odd incident. Sean did a great job to hold on to it, and then at the last second, that thing hooked right and just collected the 83 of Chris Roma.
Yeah, that the Roma situation is tough. Go zoomed in. Look at that camera work. See Hayes spinning around here. Let's see if we can pick up Roma. That car, maybe it does have some damage on the left front already after slab. Yeah, it does. Then he moves. That's a little bit more.
So Chris Roma on pit road right now repairing damage. He's going to get back on the racetrack, but he will start behind. Actually, now as I say that, Craig Tolley is back on pit road as well. So JJ Chansey on pit road as well. All 3 of these drivers, playoff drivers. Chris Roma, as he comes around, crosses the line right now, he's going to move ahead of JJ and Craig Tolley, so he would still be in a playoff spot next week, racing for the championship, but definitely put himself in a bit of a hole, or got put into a bit of a hole here by that incident. So pace car lights are out. We are going back to green flag racing this time. Caleb Hall, Chase Pierce, Caden Tufts, AJ Rogers, Zach Onen, your top 5. Ricky Howell running 6. Josh Parrish, Reagan Parent, Rick Rube, David Hill, your top 10. Caleb going to take them all the way up to the outside wall this time. Going to run off turn 4. We are back to green flag racing and the Daniel Williamson 126.
Down into turn number 1. Caleb Hall going to lead the field. Single file racing this time. We did not complete a lap before we went yellow last time. It's all going to run together. See if that'll give us a little bit more green flag action.
Chansey making a move around John Piette. Sean Hayes will follow through as well. So Piette, he restarted 15th, got caught on the outside. He's going to fall all the way back to the 19th position. JJ Chansey on the move. He's getting around Chris Roma. So this is a battle for that final playoff spot right now on the racetrack. Still just 53 laps into this 126 lapper. Trouble in front of them as Brad Carpenter's off the pace. That's going to be kind of a pick for Chris Roma and hold him up.
Roma did not run in the back of Brad Carpenter, which was the nice thing to do. He'll drop down and get to the bottom lane as he'll look to go underneath Brad Carpenter now. JJ Chansey going to get pressure from Sean Hayes. That'll move Chansey up the racetrack. Now Chris Roma has an opportunity to capitalize on this.
Yeah, Chansey going to get past there. Now Roma right behind the 2 car, not going to be close enough to make a move into 3. He's going to have to follow behind Chansey for the time being. Mostly single file racing. This is the best battle on the racetrack right in here. This is a round with JJ running about 16th on the racetrack. Chris Roma running 17th. Sean Hayes trying to make a move on Caleb W. Hill. That's a pair of number 1 cars right in front of that battle. Now Chansey's sideways into turn 1. Roma has to back off. That slows down the 31 of Carpenter.
Good job not running into each other in that little mistake there by the number 2 machine as he's running in that final playoff transfer position.
Dylan Canova just made a pass to move into the 10th spot. David Hill now back to 11th because he had gotten up the racetrack in middle 3 and 4. You're not missing anything out front. Caleb Hall still comfortably out in front of Chase Pierce. Caden Tufts, a 3-car breakaway. AJ Rogers running 4th. Zach Onen running 5th. Sean Hayes making a move underneath Caleb W. Hill. Battle for the 14th position. Hill is up the racetrack. Now the 72 of Tyler Perkins is a little off the pace coming off 4. That's another spot for Sean Hayes here.
Wow, JJ Chansey and down. We've got Hill around. Hill spins in turn 1. Actually, he saves it.
Yeah, he held on to it. It was scary there. John Piette lost a ton of time having to back off for the 1 car as he tried to gather it back up. And that's going to put Piette kind of behind the 8 ball there.
I don't know if you saw, Jeff, but the front straightaway, Chris Roma and JJ Chansey were beating on each other, beating and banging down the front straightaway. Chansey was all over the place. I think he's blocking, trying to make sure Roma stays behind him.
Trouble for Ricky Howell, and he is getting into the side of Josh Parrish. And this is a crazy battle between the 55 and the 20. This is running for the 7th position, and Howell just had a moment, and he drove back into 1 and 2, kind of doored the 55, and we almost had a big incident there.
They shake it out. Rick Rube is there as well. Here comes Canova in the 07. Crazy racing happening here in Martinsville. We wanted to see more of this last night, but those guys, they would spin out. These guys are actually making contact and keeping it going.
Yeah, and if you're Josh Parrish, you don't want to be involved with anything with anybody not racing in the playoffs. So definitely for the 55, this is an opportunity to try to get away from that 20 car. If there was any hard feelings about what just happened between them, you need to get away from that car and keep yourself in a playoff spot. He currently is running in the 6th position.
Up front, Caleb Hall starting to get away from the field except for Chase Pierce as Pierce continues to put pressure on the 26. Farther back, we just had a swap for position. Sean Hayes just went by Denver Traves. Sean Hayes making his way back forward, now running 12th. Traves running 13th. You got Tyler Perkins there in the 72. He's running 13th. Make that 14th. I just said 13th. Here comes Chris Roma to the inside of JJ Chansey. This is where it starts to get exciting as Chansey defending everything he possibly can to try to stay in the playoffs.
Chris Roma led Chansey that time by, and now Roma would be into the playoffs if it finishes like this. Brad Carpenter thought about 3 wide. He was thinking, I'd pick up a spot. Now Perkins is up the racetrack. They will go 3 wide off 4.
Chansey doing everything he can to try to hold Roma behind him. Can't do it at the moment. That 2 car is pretty beat up. So Roma now into a playoff position. JJ Chansey is out as it stands, but he gives a bump to the 83. He's going to make contact with Roma, try to get underneath the 83 car. Wow, this is fairly early on in this race as we're not even halfway. Gives it another shot going into turn number 1, moves Roma up the racetrack. Here comes Brad Carpenter in the 31. Wow, JJ Chansey's doing everything he can, pulling out all the stops. We're only halfway in this race. We're just beyond halfway, and he's already making a ton of contact with the 83 machine.
Yeah, not making any friends right now with JJ Chansey, but we heard from Cole Cabry last night, when it comes into a championship, the elbows come out and you're going to use up the doors and the fenders and whatever you need to get where you need to be to win a championship, right?
We're not even running for a championship yet, but that's what JJ Chansey wants. He wants the opportunities. We got Tyler Perkins in trouble on the front straightaway. He just nosed it hard into the inside wall. So he's going to keep the 72 going.
Perkins still running, and he is in trouble off turn 2. That car is off the pace. I think he's trying to get to pit road. As the leaders come by, Caleb Hall going to go by, Chase Pierce going to go by as those two make their way to pit road, and that was Caleb W. Hill and Tyler Perkins.
Oh my goodness. This is like a real short track race on Saturday night. Just things going crazy, and the flagman just keeps his flag in the holder. We're just going to keep going.
And Chris Roma just went back around JJ Chansey. Roma is now bringing along Brad Carpenter, so maybe going to put a car between himself and JJ here.
I think that's what he needs to do. JJ Chansey was aggressive and just kept bumping the 83 machine. Now he's got a buffer. He's got the 31 car, Brad Carpenter. Now he just has to stay in front of Carpenter and try to get away from Chansey.
Denver Traves now the next car in Chris Roma's radar here and in his sights, and Traves up the racetrack. Here goes the 83 of Roma. He's going to slip on by. We move him up to the 13th position.
So Roma doing everything he needs to do right now in the 83 car. Brad Carpenter trying to follow. We get a yellow. Oh, it gives us an opportunity to catch our breath.
And I think this had to do with the 03 and the 1, but I'm going to look around the racetrack real quick here. I don't think it was warranted of a yellow, but it brought the yellow out.
I'm going to figure out what happened here as we get onto the back straightaway. We get the battle between these two drivers. We go down into turn number 3, and hey, there's nothing wrong with dirt tracking.
Well, David Hill made a heck of a save. I mean, that he wheeled that thing through 3 and 4 there to hold on to it. Sean Hayes got a little contact there going into turn 1, and the number 1 machine got in the back of the 03. David Hill got him sideways. Hill holds on and really didn't need the yellow, but we got one anyway.
We just talked about how the flagman that was keeping the yellow in the holder.
Yeah, he was like, I'll show you.
Forget it. Yeah, we're just going to give him one. It's a heck of a save by Hill here, but I think that's just on Sean Hayes. Just gets into the left rear of the 03.
C-car don't hit car situation there, and when we talk about it all the time, when you're making the pass, you got to be careful not to overshoot the corner and get into a guy. And if you're alongside of him, it's something different. But when you hit him square in the bumper, that's a surefire sign that it's your fault.
That is a save right there.
Yeah, heck of a drive. And shout out to David Hill, who's really improved very quickly. When we looked at a couple weeks ago, we looked at who was like the newest drivers to iRacing. David Hill was at the top of that list. He's only been on iRacing for like 4 months.
Look at this save. Look at that save.
And David Hill has really come a long way in those 4 months. He came in, he was in the B main most of the time, struggling to make races, and now he's right around a top 10 car every single week. And shout out to David, who's improving quickly and running very well here in the Challenger Series.
We'll give him a little bit of a spotlight here, Jeff. We'll take a look at David Hill's car. He's got the Wadsworth Motor Cars Incorporated on that machine. One of the sponsors here at In the Zone Racing. It's all over that thing. Shout out to David Hill. That was a great save. We watched it from the in-car, Jeff. Fantastic.
Well, looking at the field now, Caleb Hall, Chase Pierce, Caden Tufts, AJ Rogers, Zach Oden. No changes in the top 5 for quite a while. Josh Parrish running 6th now. Reagan Parent 7th. Ricky Howell 8th. Rick Rube up to 9th from starting from pit road. Heck of a run for Rick Rube. Dylan Canova, he started 22nd tonight. He is up into the top 10. David Hill runs 11th. Chris Roma back up to 12th now after his early troubles. Denver Traves 13th. Brad Carpenter 14th. JJ Chansey 15th. And as we've been saying right now, JJ Chansey and Craig Tolley would be the guys out. If this ends the way it is, they would not be racing for a championship next week. Craig Tolley currently running 17th, JJ running 15th, and they need to pass some cars. Well, base car lights are out. It'll be Caleb Hall, Chase Pierce bringing them back to the green flag racing, lap 78 of this 126 lapper. That was only our 5th caution of the race, so this race going a lot smoother than it did last night.
Like to see it. Like to see the challenge series get it done. Caleb Hall going to be on the loud pedal. He's going to clear everyone pretty easily. Battle's going to be for 3rd as AJ Rogers looks to the outside of Caden Tufts. Can't do it. We've got a yellow.
Trouble on the front straightaway. I see Jarrett Campbell around. I think David Hill might have been involved as well.
Take a look and see what happened to those guys as they came off at turn number 4 to take the green flag.
I think it started with the 03 of Hill. We sung his praises, and then coming to the green, he spun the tires and just got out of shape right in front of everybody. Denver Trey's behind him, nowhere to go. JJ Chansey gets collected. Looked like John Piette, Jarrett Campbell got collected as well.
That's what we do. We put too much pressure on somebody.
Every time we shout somebody out about how great a job they're doing.
That's why we never talk about Rick Rube anymore.
We are sorry, David Hill. You were having a fantastic run. You'll get back up there.
Here we go. We'll watch the 03. See a tire spin here. Whoops. And he's chasing it from that point forward. Gets into Roma, gets into Chansey. Piette tries to stop. Piette ends up getting hit from behind, spun around. Tough break for some of those drivers. I don't think a tremendous amount of damage. I think I'm a little bit worried about Chris Roma's damage on the left front of that 83 car as he is battling for that transfer spot in the next round of the playoffs, the final round of the playoffs.
Yeah, Roma took some damage. So did JJ Chansey. Chansey took a pretty good hit there as well, and that car already had a ton of damage. The guy behind him, Craig Tolley, he got through that, but he's already got a ton of damage, and now 3 of those cars lined up nose to tail for this restart. They will restart 12th, 13th, and 14th, and only one of them can move on to the playoffs at this point.
So we got the bruised bunch that are trying to make it into the playoffs next week, and they're all, like you said, they're nose to tail, Jeff. This one is going to get exciting. Unfortunately for Chris Roma, actually no, fortunately for Chris Roma, it looks like he's going to start 11th. Chansey's going to start 12th, and Craig Tully will be 13th. Chansey needs to find his way to the bottom so he can try to defend his position and then somehow get by Chris Roma.
Yeah, and if you're Craig Tolley and Chris Roma are teammates, and they're going to be racing each other possibly here for that final playoff spot, and that's going to be an interesting situation as well.
I actually messed up, Jeff. It's going to be a single file restart. We didn't get back.
Yeah, single file restart this time.
Unfortunately, I thought I was ahead of it. I'm not.
We are under caution here, lap 82, as we are getting the field line back up, and pace car lights should be out this time. And they are out. Single file restart coming at you. So Caleb Hall going to have control of this restart in the number 26 car, and as we've seen, he likes to take them all the way to the outside wall, try to get a nice run coming off turn 4, make that straightaway as long as possible. And Chase Pierce, that last restart, kind of spun the tires as well, but so did Caden Tufts. Neither of them got a fantastic restart. So this yellow going to punch them back up, try again, and everybody going to try to time this one. You can see them kind of piling up nose to tail, and Caleb Hall back on the loud pedal. We are green flag racing once again.
That was a late one from Caleb Hall. He gave him a late restart. Here we are, single file. The first battle on the racetrack's Brad Carpenter and Craig Tully. They're going to battle for position. That is not a battle that Craig Tully wants to be in. Gotta give a shout out to Brad Carpenter, Jeff. He's kept that 31 pretty clean. Not a lot of damage on the front of that 31 car. All the cars he's racing with have been in incidents tonight. Brad Carpenter doing a nice job.
Yeah, he's having a fun battle there with Sean Hayes. Hayes was stuck on the outside, was not able to clear the 31. Now he'll fall back behind him in the 15th position. Caution on the front straightaway. Tyler Perkins around. That's the 72 machine. Had a moment there on the front straightaway, and I think he got together with Caleb W. Hill.
Tyler has not had his best evening.
Yeah, this has not been Tyler's night, and I think he just got caught up in another one there.
Oh. That one's going to be, does Tyler come up? But I think the one car comes down.
Yeah, I think Caleb was trying to keep it off the wall and just had a little too much left wheel in it, and that thing started to turn back down the racetrack, just right rear hook the 72 machine.
Different looks we got on this wreck. You can see the guys up top here coming off turn number 4. Bang. This is what the starter saw. Let's see how long he waits to throw the yellow. There it is.
A long time.
Yeah. We've been talking about how he's kept that yellow flag in the holder all night long. You saw he was hoping to do it once again, just hanging out, watching the car. Are you going to move? Are you going to? No, they didn't move quick enough, so he threw the yellow.
So Jarrett Campbell going to get a lucky dog. He is 31 laps down, still making laps in the 04 machine. Going to get one of those back, so 30 laps down. But he could pass a couple cars here as Caleb W. Hill has called it a night in the one machine. So Jarrett Campbell, if he sticks with it, he would pick up a spot. Still Caleb Hall, your leader. Chase Pierce, Caden Tufts, AJ Rogers, Zach Onen, your top 5. Josh Parrish, Reagan Parent, Ricky Howell, Rick Rube, Dylan Canova, the top 10. Chris Roma currently running 11th, would be the last car racing for a playoffs or for a championship next week. 4 drivers moving on. JJ Chansey outside looking in right now, and behind him, Craig Tolley running 13th. He would also be eliminated tonight if he finishes where he is. Shout out to Aaron Johnson, who was on Facebook watching, said he just made it home. And Aaron, glad to hear you're doing a little better. You're out of the hospital, and can't wait to see you racing as soon as possible with us.
Absolutely. That is fantastic news, Aaron. Thank you for letting us know.
So here we go, double file restart. Caleb Hall, Chase Pierce, Caden Tufts, and then the 17 of AJ Rogers. Zach Ronan running 5th for this restart, and Chase Pierce kind of holding back a little bit there on the 26 car. I think he's going to try to time this one, and that's a risky proposition because if you don't time it right, you could end up passing the 26. We are back to green flag racing for the Daniel Williamson 126. Caleb Hall again shot out of a cannon. Well to the front. Chase Pierce going to get down in line in front of Caden Tufts off turn 2. He does clear the 0-0. So top 3 single file as they battle for 4th right now.
Caden Tufts able to get in line. Now Zach Owen's going to get in line. Josh Parrish as well in 6th. Ricky Howell's up the racetrack, and we'll go yellow once again. I think there was an issue. Brad Carpenter, Craig Tully. Craig Tully caught on the back straightaway wall right now. That is not good, as Craig Tully's going to have to tow that 50 car.
Tully and JJ Chansey got together, 2 of our playoff drivers battling hard. And off turn 2, I think the 2 and the 50 got together, and around they both went. Brad Carpenter got involved.
Oh, I think that's Tully walking down the, oh my goodness. And then Brad Carpenter gets pushed into it basically, and Tully flips. And that's how he ends up on the wall. That one looked to me, I feel like it was pretty obvious that like the 2 just was way down the racetrack.
Yeah, to me, it looked like the 2 car just came off the top, had a run, but he got a little loose and then just dropped that car way too low on the racetrack off the corner and really left nowhere for the 50 to go. Craig Tolley gets turned around, couple cars involved, Tyler Perkins involved. And this has just been a disastrous night for Craig Tolley. Just nothing has seemed to gone his way.
I mean, there's not much more you can do if you're the 50 car. He just keeps getting hit, flips over, gets caught on the wall, can't do anything. And then it's tow time.
And unfortunately, Tully is going to be multiple laps down now as he sits on pit road. And time is running out. We are lap 93 of this 126 lapper, so it's going to be tough for him to get those 2 laps back at this point.
So let's set it, Jeff. Who's in? Who's out? Where do we stand? Who's left?
Well, right now,
Final 4 on the line, less than 30 laps remaining.
Right now, as it would stand, Caleb Hall would be in. Zach Onen, Josh Parrish, and Chris Roma would be racing for a championship next week. Chris running 11th right now. JJ Chansey currently running 16th. He is back on pit road trying to repair some damage. Craig Tully is 3 laps down in the 19th position, and Tully's chances are really a long shot at this point right now. And JJ Chansey got to get back on the racetrack right now. He's repairing some damage to that 2 machine, but things are not looking good for Chansey as well.
Chansey back out in the 2. Lights out on the pace car. We'll get another single file restart.
Single file restart for Caleb Hall. He's going to have Chase Pierce behind him, Caden Tufts, AJ Rogers, Zach Onen. We are going green flag racing, just waiting on Hall to set the pace, fire off, and he's making him wait to the front straightaway once again. He's back on the loud pedal, about 2-3 car lengths in front of Chase Pierce, as Caden Tufts did not get a fantastic restart either, not able to put any pressure on the 17 of Pierce.
Great jump from Caleb Hall. He's going to still have a 3-4 car length lead down the back straightaway. Chase Pierce chasing. Here comes Caden Tufts. AJ Rogers, he's going to gain on the back end of Caden Tufts in 3 and 4.
Single file racing through most of the field right now. Nobody trying to make any moves just yet. I saw Brad Carpenter, I think, just went around Tyler Perkins. That was for about the 16th position. Now Denver Trade's going to take a shot underneath the 72. He got in the curb. Chansey's going to make some contact with him.
Chansey's made a lot of contact tonight.
Yeah, he's having a rough night. Now a little contact again with the 72 of Perkins as Chansey goes by. Going to move into the 17th position.
There's a thing I've heard of, a term before, Jeff, and I'll use the clean version of it. It's a give a heck a meter.
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
think Chansey's give a heck a meter is full or pegged or whatever you want to call the I don't care anymore status.
Yeah, the 2 car really just fighting for his championship life right now. He needs to make that top 4, and it's not looking good right now for Chansey, who's currently running behind Denver Traves in the 17th position. Craig Tully is back on the racetrack, but he has 4 laps down, so Tully's championship hopes kind of coming to a close here. As out front is all Caleb Hall, but Chase Pierce starting to work his way around. He's changing his lanes up a little bit, and I saw him open up his entry and try to get a run off the corner. And you're seeing it again. He's moving up the racetrack, going to try to turn under the 26 on the corner exit. Not close enough this time, but I think he's starting to mount that pressure.
Well, he's definitely peaking now. He's changed his lines, like you said, and he's definitely trying to kind of dime in the corner and turn down, coming down the straightaway. He can lengthen the straightaway, see if he can get more of a run down into the corners. So you can see he enters a little bit high right there to see if he can get any kind of run on the 26 Hall.
Caden Tufts right there as well in the 00 car. If anything happens with these front 2, if they make any contact at all, Tufts will be there to capitalize. So that 00 car, he started 5th tonight, is working his way forward. Behind him, AJ Rogers and Zach Onen in the top 5. Field very spread out now. It's mostly single file racing throughout the field.
I think the battles up front at the moment, Jeff, as Chase Pierce starting to really put pressure in. They're pretty much towing a huge line of cars. I think it's the first through the 12th place car altogether. We get a caution. I think there's another issue. David Hill, Carpenter. I see Denver Trays flipping on the front straightaway.
Trouble for the 31 and the 03. They got together, and I think the 03 might have had an issue off turn 4.
I think he got a shot from the 31 of Brad Carpenter.
Yeah, I think it's another situation there. The 03 threw a block, and the 31 just about had it with the block there. Kind of sent the 03, and then the 03 decided, you know what, off turn 4, we're both going to crash.
Oh, I want to see this block. That's what I want to see. We see Brad gets a run off at turn 2. Oh, wow. Brad Carpenter, he just said, hey, man.
I think the frustration has started to come out for some of these guys. I mean, it's been a long season, and you have multiple run-ins with a guy throughout the season. You get this late into the year, and it's, you know what, let's just settle this now.
Just want to watch David Hill off the corner. Doesn't get a great run off the corner and just starts walking the straightaway. Yeah, that's one of those Formula One blocks where you just decide to go in a line that doesn't make any sense. Let's watch that. Watch that as well from Brad Carpenter, as that one should be fun. So I'm gonna go underneath him. I've got the run and then the throttle up. And then David Hill knew what Brad Carpenter did, didn't like it. They're just gonna keep running into each other. That see the 24 car. That's called an innocent bystander.
Yeah, poor Denver Trays, nowhere to go, gets collected on that one, and that's the problem when you like.
That's why you don't do that.
You know, when you retaliate, that's generally what ends up happening. Is somebody just happens to get caught up in your mess because you're angry at somebody else, and unfortunately, we don't appreciate that too much around here. So that will mix up the field with just a bit. Caleb Hall, Chase Pierce, Caden Tufts, AJ Rogers, Zach Owen, still your top 5. No changes in the top 5 for quite a while. They've kind of sorted themselves out based on speed, I think. Josh Parrish up front, running 6th. Ricky House 7th. Reagan Parent, Rick Rube, Dylan Canova, still your top 10. Chris Roma back up into 11th. Sean Hayes, John Piette, Brad Carpenter running 14th. Denver Trays 15th. David Hill will restart 16th. JJ Chansey 17th. Well, we are getting set for a double file restart. Time is starting to take away in this one. Just about about 13 laps left in this one. Is Caleb Hall has been in control, has led every single lap. He'll have control of this restart with Chase Pierce on his outside. Caden Tufts, AJ Rogers in that second row. Pace cars off the racetrack. Hall gonna set the pace here on this restart. He is off and away. Pierce gonna be able to move down in front of Caden Tufts. No challenges from behind for the 17.
Caden Tufts doing a good job in 3rd spot. He's been there almost all night long. The battle's going to rage between Zach Onan and AJ Rogers. Now they'll settle that before they get down into turn number 3. And here comes Josh Parrish up the outside. They'll make contact. They'll door slam Zach Onan through 3 and 4. They'll be side by side down the front straightaway.
Reagan Parent got shuffled up the racetrack. He lost a couple spots. Now Sean Hayes is up the racetrack as well. Chris Roma trying to take a peek underneath the 1. Rick Rube moving past Reagan Parent. I think that's going to be about for the 8th position.
Here comes Ricky Howell. He's going to try to get underneath Josh Parrish. That's going to be for 6th. They'll battle down into turn number 1. Right behind them, you see Rick Rube is battling with Reagan Parent. Battles on the racetrack as we get less than 10 laps remaining.
Dylan Canova on the move. He is up to 8th. Rick Rube back in 9th. Reagan Parent running in the top 10. Behind them, Sean Hayes, Chris Roma. And still out front, Caleb Hall has led every single lap, and he's still leading on lap 117. Chase Pierce in tow, along with Caden Tufts. If you're wondering about JJ Chansey, he's currently running 17th. He is well behind Chris Roma in the 12th position. Roma got to feel pretty comfortable right now where he sits, and he would be in if it ends right now. JJ Chansey, Craig Tolley would be out of the next round.
Caden Tufts just got really loose off of turn number 4. You can see how hard the 00 driver is pushing. He slid that car sideways off of turn number 4, not able to gain any ground on your front two.
Yeah, no reason to save tires now. Use whatever you have left, and Chase Pierce is trying to do that to catch the 26 machine of Caleb Hall. The 42 is Zach Onen's kind of fallen off the pace a bit. The top 4 have kind of separated themselves from Zach Onen and Ricky Howe.
Saw that in the first run, Jeff. We had multiple groups of cars that had separated themselves from each other. We're starting to see that again. So we have a little bit of an issue on the front straightaway, and we've got a wreck in turn number 1, pairing around Sean Hayes into the back of the 17 car. I think there was an issue prior to that as they went down the straightaway, but Sean Hayes immediately leaves, ejects as Reagan Parent picks up some left front damage from that incident.
Yeah, and I think that would have been the 3rd caution on Sean Hayes anyway, so I think he realized that was probably over. His night was coming to an end there.
Something happened on the front straightaway, though. There was something that happened between those two drivers. Because I think Parent might have caught the wall. And I don't know if that's really... Parent catches the wall and then yanks it way down. Sean just kind of avoids. You can actually see him lock up the right front trying to get into turn number 1.
Yeah, kind of just another blocking situation there.
I think the best way to look at that is to try to look at Sean Hayes' in-car. As he was coming down the front straightaway, Parent gets stuck on the wall, and then, well, Hayes did stay on the gas for a long time. If he was trying to pass the 17 car, 100%.
Yeah, but we do have a saying, an old saying. We try not to say it too much because we don't want to encourage anything, but sometimes when you block, you pay. That was a situation there where Reagan, his momentum was slowed down. The one car's coming with a full head of steam. At some point, you kind of have to just concede that spot and not try to push the issue. And I think he might have pushed the issue a little far there.
There was a situation where I think Sean wanted to let him know, hey, I'm coming. Like you said, the 17 had lost all momentum and just dove kind of to the middle. I don't know if his momentum of pulling the car off the wall made it go down there. It's hard to tell. We can look and see if we can see what Reagan saw or what happened with him. Nah, that was quite the move to the inside.
Well, Bill, we are set up for a green-white checkered finish. We are now at lap 125, and that means we are extending this race. We'll have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered if needed.
What do you think? Does Chase Pierce have anything for Caleb Hall? Caleb Hall's led this entire race. He did the same thing we saw last night with Alex McCollum. He's led every single lap so far. And last night we saw Cole Cabrey was putting pressure on McCollum all night long, but wasn't able to make the pass. Pierce has been doing the same thing in that number 17 machine. Now it's time to go. He's got 2 laps. Does he have anything for that 26 car?
Chase is going to need the restart of his night right here. We've seen Caleb be so good on the restarts that he stretches that gap, and Chase spends 5-6 laps chasing him back down, and he's just not going to have that time now. So he really has to nail this restart. It's got to be just about perfect. He's got to get down in line in front of Caden Tufts. That's a lot to ask here on this green-white checkered finish. Tufts is going to be trying to get a good restart as well. But here we go. Caleb Hall going to have full control. He's been pulling away every single time on these restarts, and he's looking to do so again as we come down. green-white checkered finish. They're going to see the green flag this time. Caleb Hall is clear of the 17, but Pierce got a fairly good restart. He will be in tow with the 26.
He's right there through turns 1 and 2. Caden Tufts is there as well. Tufts didn't get off of turn 2 very well. Pierce did, so he's still on the back bumper of Caleb Hall as they come around to get the white flag.
Off turn 4, Caleb Hall will see the white flag, but Pierce is there, and the caution waves right before they get to the line.
Wow.
John Piette was around in turn 3. Contact with Brad Carpenter sent the 5 around.
Wow, we're gonna look at two things here as we take a look at John Piette and what happened to him. Stem down the back straightaway. David Hill's there as well. He's going down into turn number 3. I think John just comes down. I don't see Brad Carpenter do anything that's very odd there. Although, it's an odd apex. The other thing I want to take a look at, Jeff, is where does the flag, when the flag comes out and the lights come on?
It looked like I saw the flag right before the start-finish line. I mean, they were 5 feet away from the line, and then the yellow came out.
It had to have changed colors. I think John's just down the racetrack there, Jeff. That's my final answer. But we're gonna take a look at this from the starter cam.
You know, I almost kind of disagree. I think the 31 entered a little higher than...
Really? All right,
yeah.
We'll look at it again. We'll argue about... No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm looking at John in comparison to Reagan Parent and Craig Tully.
It really, what set this all off, there was contact between Denver Traves and Brad Carpenter off turn 2. Brad was off the pace. He was slow. His momentum had been killed. The 5 went around the outside, and then... they just kind of came together into turn 3.
I think they meet in the middle. They meet in the middle. Brad's up a little bit, John's down a little bit.
That was just all set off by that contact where Brad just couldn't get back to the gas after contact, and sometimes I think Piette might have thought that he was going to be clear down the back straightaway and just didn't quite get there.
All right, so here we go. We're going to watch the starter here. He's got the white flag out. He's waving the white flag. What? Wait a minute.
I saw a white flag, didn't you?
I can't believe he actually puts it away. It doesn't just change colors. Well, I want to see if we get a better angle on this thing. This is, I mean, where's the lights? Can we get lights here? Wow. Honestly, it had to have triggered the instant before he got to the line. That is great. You see the flag when waving the white flag, and he puts it away and pulls out the yellow. That is amazing. Good job, iRacing.
Well, that means we're going round number 2 with a green-white checkered finish. This time it will be a single file restart. They did not complete a lap. And I tell you what, this is another chance for JJ Chansey. He's currently running 15th. Chris Roma would be the last guy in, running 10th right now, and you know, green-white checkered finish, anything could happen. JJ Chansey still on the racetrack, still making laps, trying, just desperately hoping something happens to one of the other playoff contenders right now. Is Caleb Hall going to bring them back to the green flag? Single file green-white checkered restart on lap 132. Caleb Hall, Chase Pierce, Caden Tufts, your top 3. All going to make them wait on it, coming down the front straightaway, and he got a fantastic restart. 3, 4, 5 car lengths at the line.
You've seen the meme where the guy says, "Ha, got him." That's exactly what Caleb Hall just did. Got Chase Pierce on the restart. Now he's got a 3 car length lead down the back straightaway, coming to get the white flag for the second time tonight.
Caleb Hall going to see the white flag off turn 4, and he's going to pray for no caution. He's there. We are green flag, and we are going to finish this thing.
Caleb Hall's going to come through 1 and 2, trying to win the Daniel Williamson 126 and the Daniel Williamson number 26. Down the back straightaway, he leads into 3.
Into turn 3, no one close, and he is going to come off turn 4. He is going to win the Daniel Williamson Memorial 126. Caleb Hall wins the race and going to move on to the playoffs race for a championship next week at Myrtle Beach. Chase Pierce going to come home 2nd, Caden Tufts 3rd, AJ Rogers 4th, Zach Onen finishes 5th, locks himself into the championship 4. Ricky Howell 6th, Dylan Canova 7th, Josh Parrish 8th. He will race for a championship next week. Rick Rube comes home 9th, and Chris Roma going to get that 4th and final playoff spot with a 10th place finish tonight.
Caleb Hall bouncing his car off of other cars as he's doing donuts. That is some serious donut right there. He is a happy, happy individual. He has burned the tires off the race car. Barely any smoke coming out of that machine anymore. Probably just going to blow it up. What do you think?
Absolutely. Might as well. Yeah, he's going to want all new fresh stuff for next week, right?
We'll have to get him off the throttle to talk to him here down in Victory Lane.
So Reagan Parent going to come home 11th tonight. Denver Trace 12th. Brad Carpenter 13th. David Hill 14th. John Piette with a 15th place finish. Tyler Perkins 16th. JJ Chansey, Craig Tolley, Sean Hayes, Jarrett Campbell, Caleb W. Hill, and Aaron Plemons rather in 22nd. And Bill, that means JJ Chansey, Craig Tolley, they are officially out of the playoffs. Not going to race for a championship next week, but fantastic season for both of them. It's, and I wanted to shout out JJ because he has improved a ton since last season, and
oh yeah,
he's done a fantastic job this season. He had a legit shot at this title, and things didn't quite work out for him, but he has been fantastic, and Craig Tolley as well. First season we've seen Craig, and he'd already worked his way into the Monday Night Series. One of the cleanest drivers I've ever seen in this series. He's been fantastic, and it's a shame it didn't work out for him as well, but he has been he's a Monday night guy for as long as he wants to race on Monday nights, right?
Absolutely. That's a really good two-car team, that Craig Tully, Chris Roma tandem there, and the Roma Brothers Racing Machines. Those guys, very clean drivers and very good. Obviously, they were both in the playoffs in their first season here in the Late Model Challenger Series.
Well, Bill, we finally got Caleb to quit doing a burnout, and he is joining us right now. And Caleb, before we even talk about next week, you come in here, you win the Daniel Williamson Memorial. I know we talked about it a little bit before this race started, how you knew Daniel. Go ahead and tell everybody, how you knew Daniel, what the story is, and how much this one means to you.
Oh my God, that guy got me into sim racing. I knew him for a good while. He'd go Facebook Live and he'd run late model races. There's just no way that we just. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Like that's. Excuse my French, but that's fucking insane, dude. Like, honestly, I don't even care if we go into next week and get trashed. Like, that's honestly amazing. To lead all 130 some odd laps from the pole, to have literally two of my teammates run second and third with me. I can't believe that this just happened.
Clearly, it means a lot to you, and that's a 25-point and disqualification from the playoffs for dropping it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Honestly, give it to me at this point.
Right? I know you're happy, but Caleb, talk about Chase on the bumper there. Was there any you talk about him as your teammate? That might be a new development. I wasn't aware of that, but
it happened last week.
Got it. So it is a new development, but was there any concern that maybe he would feed you the bumper, give you a little bit of the chrome horn, trying to pick up this win?
I mean, honestly, if he gave it to me, I would have gave it right back, and I probably would have got EOL'd because I wasn't letting that one go. I had a few slip-ups there. He almost got to the bumper, but honestly, I wasn't letting that one go. I mean, I know it's all virtual, but I've never driven so hard for something that means so much.
Well, we saw you early on. You jumped out to almost a second lead over the field, and then there was a point about 20 laps into it. It seemed like you slowed down. Was there a concern about saving tires, or did you just kind of get out of a rhythm there? Because that was probably the closest you were challenged all night, is early on.
I mean, I don't know. I just pulled a Daniel Williamson. I went ahead and showed them boys who had it and who was going to win it. Then I went back here and played with them. I mean, on the restarts, I knew I could pull Chase a good 6 to 7 tenths. And the way that I was backing up the center of the corners, unless he literally dumped me, there was no way he was getting around off the corner. Caden as well. Like, I would let them both know when we were going. That way we could get some space because, I mean, honestly, when I saw that caution flag fly when I almost took the white the first time, it was bad. Like, I got pretty pissed. But to be able to hold on to it and have those two behind me and to not even really save tires, I just went for it every single lap. It's still crazy, dude. Like, this is wild.
Well, Caleb, let's talk about. Clearly, it means a lot, and that's why we put this race on. Daniel meant a lot to all of us, and we actually love doing this every season, and we will continue to do this every season. But let's look forward to next week. You now are
I'm
going to be.
winning the race and the championship.
He's channeling Daniel Williamson for the race wins,
Yeah.
and now he channels Thomas Axum going into the next week. So you feel confident about Myrtle Beach? You like that racetrack?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, I'm pretty sure Josh made it. So if I don't win it, I hope he does. So at least one of the team guys may actually get the championship. I like Chris. I think he made it, unless something happened. And honestly, I forgot who the other person was. But I mean, going into next week, I'm going to try not to forget about the race because that seems to be a running theme. I'm going to run those four clean, and I hope that everyone else out there runs us clean because it's a race inside of a race. But if I can't do it, I hope Josh can get it. And I don't know. I'm honestly speechless.
Well, Caleb, a minimum of $150 on the line next week. I'll have to do the mathematical calculations, but it's going to be a minimum of 150 for the championship. So that might get you to possibly wake up and be on time.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we got 2 pole awards, so that's $10. So minimum 150, that's 160. So I mean,
It
that's
doesn't
pretty
mean much to
good.
you. You could donate it back to the league, and the guys that do the broadcast do it for free. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know. Y'all do a good job. I mean, this is honest. Other than Sarah, of course, this is probably the most fun I have on here. Um, I mean, I don't know, $160. That's a set of go-kart tires. So
There you
basically,
go.
I'll put y'all sticker on the go-kart.
Hey, now you're talking.
I hear fuel in our racing.
All right, Caleb. Before we let you go, we want to give you a chance to shout out anybody you need to shout out. Any sponsors that help you out. Go ahead, take a minute, take all the time you need to shout them all out right now.
All right. Well, first, I want to thank all of the accelerated guys. We still stay in contact in the group chat and talk about our racing. Kyle Clean and Pill, Preston McGee, Corey Dunn, Michael Harden, Brian Reedy, Colby Bryant, James Curl, Jonathan Hall, Kenny Lang, and Tony McGuire, and of course the guy who got us all riled up and got us good on the sim, Daniel. But I got to thank my team now, which has still got some of those guys on it, but Caden, Chase, Josh, JJ. I mean, there's a ton of them over there on that side. I got to thank Daniel Pope. He helps me a ton on the open stuff. I got to thank Premier Racing Setups for allowing me to put my stuff out there. Of course, Aftershock Setup Solutions, Traction Connection, and Stealth Stem Shots. I did all that stuff on here, and honestly, it's just a lot that goes into it, and I honestly can't thank y'all guys enough. Like, y'all give us stuff to do on Tuesdays, and next season I'll be doing it on Mondays. But I mean, y'all do an amazing thing for the community. Y'all allow pretty much anyone to come in here and have fun, and you give us a little bit of cash to race for. So I have to also give props to y'all and everyone who sponsors this league. They're sponsoring a good cause.
Well, thank you, Caleb. We do appreciate it, all the kind words, and there was something that we missed. We didn't even talk about. This is your first ITZR win. I just had to go back and check. This is your first
Whoa!
ITZR win.
Yeah, it's the first one. Um, I'm not being cocky, but I think we should have already had about 3 this season. I mean, the green white checkers at Nashville getting dumped, Stafford getting wrecked by a lap car, Five Flags having to come from the rear twice and still almost getting that done. I mean, there's a few of them that have slipped away, but honestly, I would have much rather won at this race over anything. I was actually thinking about that going into 3. Like, I was starting to get emotional, and I was like, I really just did this wire to wire, my first win, and it's for DW. So yeah, I mean, first win. So it's honestly amazing. So
Well,
Well,
Caleb,
thank
man,
you.
we appreciate it, man, and go celebrate this one. Go have fun with the team, and great job. We'll see you next week.
all right, see y'all guys.
Well, now tonight, our second place finisher, Chase Pierce, going to join us. And Chase, you're not in the playoff race. You're just here to win races, be a spoiler. And was there any thoughts there at the end when you were trying to chase down Caleb of maybe playing spoiler by putting the bumper to him at all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was kind of tough. we kind of became teammates last couple weeks now, and last week he was telling me be a little aggressive. I didn't know if that applied when I was behind him, you know.
Well,
So
Chase, I
it was,
want to ask about the teammate thing. Came into the series kind of a lone wolf, there you were excited. I follow you on Facebook and everything, see the posts about it. You're hooked up with some guys that kind of veterans of the series. Are they helping you out, or how did that come to be?
I believe it was after USA that night after I won. JJ had texted me, Caleb, about the setup shop, and we just kind of got in contact with it and I became part of it overnight.
Well, Chase, going back to the race tonight, there was points in the long run where it seemed like you were right on Caleb. You might have been a little bit faster. Was it just the need of a long run, or were the restarts hurting you? What did you need to be able to get around them?
Yeah, I think I was better on the long run. The restarts, I was kind of struggling with the timing. I think it was the second to last one. I finally got a good one, and if we could have got the white before the yellow, I think I might have had something. But yeah, long run, I felt better after the tires got some heat in them, and was able to close in on them a little bit.
Well, Chase, next week we head to Myrtle Beach. Those guys are going to be running for a title. You're going to be running for the win. Do you feel like you're going to? Caleb already said he's going to win the whole thing. He's going to win the title. He's going to win the race. You think you're going to try to cover him and spoil his night?
For sure. I'm definitely going to be a contender next week. Myrtle Beach is my favorite track. I grew up going to the track at least once a year, and hate it closed down. I hope to get my another win in the series there next week.
Well, Chase, before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you need to shout out? And take your time, do it right now.
Yeah, my parents, Top Hat Comics, Stick Shifter Sim Racing, Shell Bell Bonds, Mark Keeman Performance, Premier Racing Setups, Brett's Donuts, Fan Attack, OSR Network, iRacing for the Great Sim, Mining Store, and you guys for the great league and broadcast.
Well, thanks, Chase, for taking the time to talk with us. We do appreciate it, and you're becoming kind of a familiar figure here in the broadcast booth. We keep talking to you week after week, and look forward to seeing the success that's coming for you here in the Challenger Series.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the next season and next week as well.
All right, Chase, great job tonight.
Thank you.
A third place finisher joining us, Caden Tufts. And Caden, it's been a bit since we've seen you. It's been a few weeks. We haven't seen you around, and you're back here at ITZR. Come home with a podium finish. You started fifth. You didn't probably have the qualifying lap that you were expecting. You were very fast in practice. Did you just kind of miss it a bit in practice, or were you just kind of missing it a little bit there?
In qualifying, I kept getting loose. I was trying to put the pedal to the metal and see how fast we could go out of the corner, but it just kicked the car out. And I mean, every single bit of looseness you get, it's almost a tenth, maybe a little bit less than a tenth that you lose. So, I mean, a perfect corner counts, and short tracks like this, and especially all the fast guys you got in this league. I mean, every single perfect line counts.
So did you find you actually completely that was the answer that I was looking to ask the question about? We saw a couple times on the broadcast that we saw that you were stepping out coming off the corner. So I guess my question is, was this a looser setup than you're used to racing here at In the Zone Racing? Because we talked to some guys last night and they felt pretty good about it. You had your car kind of wiggling off the corner a little bit. Was this a little looser than you would like?
I find this one actually had a lot of rotation center, so I love cars like that. I mean, I had the when I used to race a Benda, we just sold it recently. I had that thing hooked up in the center, so I mean, I love cars that rotate. So I'm used to the looseness. I mean, I love being loose, but I mean, but like I said, once when you're in a field like this, everyone's fast. You can't really get that looseness you like out of the car, or else you'll be falling off a little.
Well, you talked about it. The field was just so equal, and you guys seemed to sort yourselves out in the top five, and nobody was able to move forward or make any gains there in the top five for most of the race. Was it just difficult to pass because everybody was so equal?
I think it was more on the tires. I mean, with 134 laps we went there, it was more of a tire game. I mean, I think I had had my tires killed around by lap 60. So, I mean, maybe there was a little bit of a line difference or something in there, but I mean, yeah, it was pretty much equal throughout the whole field. So,
Okay, and I love to ask what the drivers are thinking about moving forward and thinking about next week. So how do you feel about Myrtle Beach Speedway? Is that a track you enjoy racing at and driving?
it's one of my not so great tracks. I mean, I said that about the road course to myself there a bit ago when I last raced here, and I ended up finishing third, I think. So, I mean, I don't know. I have another league here that I'm battling the point championship for. Today was their off week, so I'm just gonna keep on seeing what I can do in all the leagues, and maybe we'll be there next week if they have a little bit of a cancellation or something. But hopefully, I'm racing in this league full time in the future.
Well, Caden, before we let you go tonight, is there anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, there's a lot of people I'd like to thank. The main one is Caleb and Premier. They done a lot for me so far. I mean, it's been a short time already on the team, but I mean they've done so much, providing me with the setups every week that I need to finish up front. And I mean then my sponsors, Timberley Beverage Room, Bradwater Mortgages, Guysborough Transfer, LBT Pallets, A-Rod HVAC, and I mean you guys for letting me run this league and making sure this league's broadcasted for everyone to watch.
Well, Caden, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. Congratulations, another third place finish. Fantastic season so far you're putting together. Even though you're kind of part time, we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Yeah, thank you guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys next season.
Well, Bill, we're going to take an opportunity to talk to a fourth driver because we did 4 last night, and there's a guy we wanted to talk to. Is finished fifth tonight, locks himself into the final 4 next week. Zach Onan going to join us. And Zach, I talked to you before the race started tonight, and you weren't all that confident. You thought you were going to have your work cut out for you, and then you kind of found your place in the top 5, and you ran there all night.
You know, after last night, I think I ended practice like what 5th to last or something. I said something to you about it at one point. And then the warm up last night, I figured something out. And obviously I finished 7th last night and that was huge. And tonight I was kind of nervous about where I qualified. I think I was 12th or 13th, and that's being in the middle there's a little sketchy, and it was sketchy for a bit, but I was able to clear it, eventually get to 5th and just kind of hang on in 5th. A couple times I think I got AJ to get to 4th, but it turned out, luckily for me, that he was still in front of me, so I could keep that inside starting spot.
So Super Zach, Jeff, you didn't call him by his proper name.
Super Zach Onan.
Super Zach Onan. But Zach, what do you want to tell us? What you figured out? Are you able to give us a little bit of insight as to what went on through the super mind of yours that gained you some? You said you figured it out in warm-ups, and I know we were talking earlier tonight that you weren't really looking forward to tonight. You weren't doing too well in practice. What did you figure out that gave you all the speed?
I think I just figured out to drive it in harder. I was being a little too conservative on entry, as I usually am, to get the drive off, but I figured something out that I could still drive it in hard and get that drive off. I mean, we were shifting in the corner, so that downshift in the middle lets you rotate better and pound it off the bottom.
Well, I got to wonder throughout that race, you were running in the top 5 most of the night. Do you, while you're racing in a situation like this where you're trying to fight your way into the top 4, are you looking at the standings a bit? Do you look down and look to see where the other guys are and who you're racing, and were you keeping an eye on it where you felt like, hey, I'm safe right now?
Oh, absolutely. And we were talking about it in Discord. I mean, a lot of guys were trying to be conscious of who the playoff guys were, so they weren't causing any trouble with them. I mean, I know some guys had some issues, but the guys I was with in Discord were conscious of it. I was checking every once in a while just to see how hard I had to run. I had Josh Parrish pretty much on my bumper the whole race, but I know I can trust him. So I wasn't too worried most of the time because I kept checking under caution. I'd see a couple guys with some issues, so I knew I was in a good spot there. Now it was just make sure I get off on the restart here and keep the car under me.
I think you just gave us the best advertisement for league racing, Zach, telling us, these are the guys you're familiar with, the guys you can trust that you're racing with. That's the main thing that it makes league racing so much fun, coming back week to week racing with the same guys. But I do want to ask you, you've been here seasons now, so how does it feel to be in the Final Four?
Oh man, it's been a long time coming. Feels good for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I didn't necessarily expect it, but the season kind of fell my way, and I worked my way through the field. I think I've had a handful of top fives so far in the second half for sure. And that's pretty new for me, but it felt good to run up with those guys. I found that I kind of run the pace of the guys I'm racing around. So to get up front, I kind of just made me faster, I think, because I'm chasing the rabbits out in front of me, and those guys are quick.
Well, heading into the final race, there's 4 drivers going to be racing: Caleb Hall, yourself, Josh Parrish, and Chris Roma. Do you feel like now you have to win that race next week to win the championship? Is it going to come down to whoever wins the race, or do you think that there might be a little bit of a battle where a couple spoilers end up winning the race and you guys are racing for 3rd or 4th?
I think there's a good chance you're going to have to win the race. I know Caleb's going to be strong there, and I go back and forth there. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not. So I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. But yeah, I'd say I'm going to shoot to try and win the race.
Well, exactly. We never let anybody go without giving them an opportunity to shout out the people they want to thank. So sponsors on the race car, people you want to give a shout out to. Who do you want to shout out tonight?
Well, I have to thank my fiance for sure of a week and a half ago.
That's right. Congratulations.
New fiance.
Thanks, guys. And
thank you for still letting them race. We appreciate it.
Right, for sure. Barrel 41 Brewery out of Neenah, Wisconsin. Got them on the car, and Ferris Popcorn in Fond du Lac. Great folks run those businesses. Check them out. And Revelry Racing. Those guys have helped me gain confidence over the course of the last year. So got to thank you guys for putting this on. These 2 leagues are awesome. Wouldn't want to race anywhere else.
All right, Zach, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us. We appreciate it, and congratulations on making it to the Final Four. Can't wait to see what's in store next week in Myrtle Beach. That is going to be a ton of fun. SD Ireland Cancer Research Fund 125s from Myrtle Beach Speedway coming at you Monday and Tuesday night. We can't wait to see you there. Well, Bill, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. And we are not done for the week. All that excitement, and we still got one more coming at you. We are going to be covering the Sarah Super Series Thursday night. And it is a little bit later of a start. I believe we're planning on going live at about, 9:15, 9:20?
No, those are actually, Jeff, are closer to 10 o'clock.
Okay, so it's going to be a little bit later. We'll have an announcement about that. We're still kind of getting used to that whole thing, but we do appreciate everybody that's going to hang out with us on Thursday night for the Race 1 wraps. I believe 175 from the Bull Ring in Las Vegas. That is going to be a ton of fun. Open setup, super late model racing, all the big hitters. Alex McCollum, you saw win on Monday night. He'll be there, and many more fast super late model racers, and that is pretty much the premier short track series for open setup racing, isn't it?
Absolutely. It is the super late model. It is the Super Bowl of super late models. That's a lot of supers going on, and Super Zach runs in it. So a lot of super things going on over there. So it is the Sim Auto Racing Association. They run on Thursday nights, and it is just like our Monday night series, it is the best of the best. It is the best group of drivers you're going to find that race the super late model, and open setups take an army to set those cars up every Thursday night to make them fast. And you get to see them battle it out every Thursday and go at it on the short tracks.
And then we are not done. After that, we will be back Monday and Tuesday night to finish out the ITZR season. Bill, can you believe it? It's almost been 12 weeks.
No, it goes by so quickly. It feels it's such a weird. Once you start the schedule, you're like, okay, we have 3 months of this or so, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe the season's over, and that's where we are. So we're gonna go into the championship night next week, and man, I'm so excited to crown champions. I think that's so much fun. I love putting a new name on the board and saying, hey, they're the champion of the late model shootout series, the champion of the late model challenger series. And Jeff, people don't know this, and we'll post it sometime this week, but the late model shootout series has been around a long time. We call it season, I think, number 9, and that's kind of the new iteration of the late model shootout series, but it is actually, I think, on season 21 or 22. So yeah, we'll post that entire list sometime this week, so everyone can see what it really means for these guys to put their name on this list.
Yeah, the series with the broadcast, we kind of feel like, oh, it's become an overnight sensation, right. But it took us 10 years to get here. I mean, we've been racing ITZR, the hosted racing, since hosted racing was a thing on iRacing.
2011.
And if you're old enough to remember it, you are old because
What are you trying to say, Jeff?
well, we're there with Daniel Pope in age, and we talk about, he's fighting all the young kids every week, and us guys, we've been around for a while. We've seen iRacing go through a lot of developments, and one of those was there wasn't hosted racing when it started.
I don't even know that, Jeff. I don't think I knew the service well enough to, for long enough. But
well, you're not old then.
Yeah, I'm old enough. I was there. I just didn't know how to use it. So, but yeah, we've been around a long time. So we'll post that this week. And like I said, I'm really excited to post, to crown champions next week. We'll have our final fours. They're going to race. It's going to be exciting. Last season was crazy at North Wilkesboro when we watched those guys try to battle. You remember the late model Challenger Series race where it looked like it was going to be Grayson Ward, and then all of a sudden it was Felix Gratton who came forward to the front, and then he got contact from, I think it was Jackson Lewis, and then Blaze Brinkley almost got in. It was crazy. So we'll see that again next week in Myrtle Beach, and I can't wait to do it.
Absolutely. SD Ireland Cancer Research Fund 125 from Myrtle Beach. You can catch all the action live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Twitch. Follow us on our Facebook page, In the Zone Racing, or you can check us out on our website, inthezonracing.com. Thank you so much to everybody that's been a part of this tonight. We can't wait to see these championship races come to a close next week. But again, we'll be back live in action on Thursday night for the Sarah Super Series Race 1 Wraps 175 from the Bull Ring. Make sure you're with us, and we will see you there Thursday night.